Kehlani probably made the biggest R&B hit of the summer with her song Folded, and while obviously her beautiful vocals play a huge role in that, I think the production is just as important. So ever since that release, I've spent every single day trying to recreate the feeling of that song. Just kidding, but I did make a sample in that style to show you how you can get that sound yourself, so let's go. So as you probably know, Folded starts off with this beautiful ass string section, and that's what I started with as well. But first of all, I want to kind of deconstruct the string section from the actual song, just to kind of see what makes it so beautiful. So let's start with the chords, and the chord progression is really simple. We're in A sharp minor and it's a 6-5-4 progression. So just a F sharp major 7, F minor 7 and D sharp minor 7. I probably don't have like the right voicings and stuff, but I just want to show you, you know, the basic stuff of the chords and the melody. I'm not good at recreating things, but yeah, this is what a chord progression sounds like. So as you can see, just a basic chord progression. Every chord starts on the first beat, nothing crazy. But I think the lead melody is what makes this really beautiful. I tried to recreate it here. What I think stands out is that what feels like the beginning of the melody starts a bit before the first beat. If you only listen to the melody, you kind of think the first beat is right here, right? On these notes. But as you can see, they are actually before the first beat, and I think that helps a lot with making it sound unique. So basic chord progression, catchy, beautiful lead melody with a bit of an interesting rhythm. With all that in mind, I tried to make my own string section, and I started with the chords. I obviously didn't want to copy it exactly, so I went into the B minor scale just because that's like my favorite scale to work in. And the progression I came up with is a 6-4-1 progression, and for the second half I switched it up and turned it into a 4-5-1 progression. So still very basic R&B progression. And what I think is important is that I started on the 6th chord like the original song, because I feel like for the feeling when it comes in, it's pretty important to start on that major 7 chord. And then I tried to come up with the lead melody as well. The notes look kind of similar because I tried to go with similar like rhythm ideas, with starting before the first beat and these little jumps right here. And to make it sound a bit thicker, I just added some bass notes. And now we have some nice chords, a beautiful melody, but as you can tell, this doesn't sound like a nice string section at all. And that's where the sponsor of this video comes in, which is Ace Studio. Ace Studio uses AI to turn MIDI notes into beautiful, realistic sounding vocals, and now also strings. And I think it's best if I just show you what I did for this string section. So this is Ace Studio. It's pretty much like an own DAW. It's really easy to use. It's really intuitive if you're used to working with DAWs. And as you can see, you have all these AI voices you can choose from right here. But now they also have these violins. So you can just drag the instrument right here. And since I already had the notes, I just exported them as MIDI files from FL. You can literally just drag the MIDI file into Ace Studio. The only thing I had to do here is separate the notes from the chords, because these are like single violins, right? So they can't play multiple notes at once. So first right here we have the 4 violins for the chords. Then we have the violin for the lead melody right here. This one is for the bass notes. Only problem I had here is that the violin actually can play very low notes. So I had to pitch them up right here, but I kept in mind that I had to pitch them down again later. So this is what that sounds like. And I think you can especially hear it in the lead melody that it adds all these little variations and imperfections. And as you can see, I have a few more layers right here. If you listen to the original song, there's this very interesting layer at the intro, which I thought was really beautiful, and I had no idea how to do that. I tried around a bit and I just threw in some very short little notes right here. That's obviously not the exact same, but later on with effects and stuff and with everything else playing, it sounds really nice, I think. And then we have these tracks right here, and these are actually vocals. I know the original doesn't have any vocals, but I thought, while I'm in here anyways, I can also add some vocals. As you can see, I have 3 tracks. I added just 2 singers for everyone, and I pretty much just used notes from the lead melody. I used the pitch brush to make sure the pitch is exactly what I want, and I also added a bit of vibrato here at the end. So yeah, this is what the vocals sound like. Sounds pretty cool. I honestly didn't put much effort in these because I knew I'll bury them in the mix anyways. But yeah, just like that, we went from this to this. If you want to check out Studio for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description, of course. Thanks a lot for sponsoring this video. And now that I had all these layers, I tried to really get into the details of the string section. First, I did some very basic mixing. I don't think I want to talk about it too much because it's pretty much just EQs, reverb, delay, saturation, very basic stuff. As you can see, I kind of separated them into their functions. So we have a chord mix bus right here. We have the lead, we have the bass, we have the vocal mix bus, we have some accents, and then we have a mix bus for all the strings. And for all the strings, I literally just added this fruity convolver to get like a realistic reverb sound. And yeah, we have the chord layers right here. Then we have the lead right here, the bass right here, which I pitched down again, 3 choir tracks, then this little accent that I showed you, which I also duplicated, made faster and layered that on top of it. And then just a few more little accents. I used this little one shot that I found, probably from Splice, I'm not sure. And then this little swell, I think it's also from Splice, and I use that in like all my string sections. I think it's really beautiful. And then we have these little notes right here. I just used this slide up thing right here in session strings. And like that, we're almost done, but I wanted to go one extra step and I ran these layers through my tape recorder. But I only ended up using the tape recorder layer for the chords. With all the other layers, the like tape noise was getting a bit too much. So we have the chords as a tape layer and the rest as it was. So now we successfully spent ages on literally just the intro of the sample, but I guess it's what you're here for. If you know me, you know I overcomplicate everything. But after that I started with the next part of the sample, and to get a bit of reference I actually started with a little drum loop right here. I started with that because the melodies in the Folded song are very simple. There's not too much going on. Starting with the drum loop, I kind of stopped myself from doing too much and trying to fill out too much. But yeah, I started off with my electric guitar. And let me just show you what I played. We have the same chords again. We have G major 7, E minor 7, B minor 7, and then E minor 7, F sharp minor 7, B minor 7. Only thing I did is for that second section, I kind of brought the last chord in earlier, so we have. And there's a little riff in between, I just played in something like. And then for the second time it plays, I brought in some passing chords. So very simple, just 2 diminished chords, C sharp diminished, D sharp diminished to lead to the E minor. I think stuff like that is really important for this classic R&B kind of style. Just bringing in some variation every now and then to keep it interesting, to make it feel like an actual song, to make it feel like stuff keeps happening. So this is what it sounds like. For the effects, some EQ, compression, amp simulation in chorus, and some more EQ. Next I added a wah guitar layer just to fill out the space a bit. I just layered the chords, you know, the basic. For that layer we have just some EQ and then some effects to make it more ambient, flanges, reverb, delay. And then I added this plucky rhythmic kind of guitar layer. You know, like in the original song they have this like... I don't know exactly what it is, but I tried to make something a bit similar, but I ended up putting it a bit more into the background and have it as more of like a texture rhythmic kind of layer. And I played something like... Next I layered the chords with an E-piano. You can never go without an E-piano for a beautiful R&B sample. Pretty much just plays the chords. It has a little accent right here, but that's about it. And right here. I layered 2 different sounds for that. We have this one, which is like my go-to E-piano sound. And then we have this one in Triton, which I use for more of the high end to add a bit of sparkle. You know, just fills out the space a bit, makes it sound a bit fuller. And remember, we have these 2 passing chords right here. And I don't know why, but I always hear like sine pads with these passing chords. Just adds lots of spice, I think, I don't know why. So that's exactly what I did. I used one of my own sine pads. Has a bit of grittiness to it. And I literally just layered these chords that are playing. And I think that just adds a really beautiful accent. Next I wanted to fill up the high end a bit more, and I thought I could also kind of keep the string vibe from the intro. So I added just some high string notes, pretty much just random notes I think. I just have this as like the main note that's playing, and I added these just because they sound cool. Just a nice little layer in the background. After that I needed some bass, of course, and I used my live bass for that. Just like in Folded, I kept it very simple. I played the root notes, of course, and in between just very small little accents and riffs. Beautiful. And then I wanted a bit of rhythm in that, and I added one of my percussion loops. If you want access to my percussion loops, to my accents, phrases, everything I make that I can just drag and drop into my samples to spice them up, and also full samples, you can check out my Lucid Weekly subscription. It's only $5 a month, and you get a brand new exclusive sample pack every single Sunday. Link is in the description. So yeah, this is what it sounds like with the percussion loop. As the last last element for that section, I just brought in some of the strings. I think they did that in Folded as well, just as a little fill right here towards the end. For the last section I wanted something with less energy, more ambient, and I made it really easy for myself. I already have all these beautiful layers, so I just brought in the string chords, the low string and the choirs. I added some more reverb on the string chords to drown them out a bit, and I only kept the wah guitar chords and the E-piano. And then I added a very simple wah guitar melody, just a few little riffs. And as you can hear, for the end I brought in these string accents again. So last elements I added for this section, it's just a few little melodic accents and textures. These are from my Lucid Weekly subscription as well. Sound like this. Let me turn them out a bit. I put them way in the background to just have a bit of texture. So like that we are almost done. I went back and added some more stuff to the intro, just because I felt like I want to make it feel a bit fuller. First I added a piano, which is just playing the chords again. Use Sound Pan for that, it's free and sounds really nice. And as you can see, just the chords again. I did a bit of variation right here. But that's about it. Then I added a few little high-end bell kind of things. You can also hear something like that in the actual song. So first we have this little melody with this bell instrument in contact. Oh no, it's an E-piano actually. And then I added some bells with this Glockenspiel one-shot. Just adding a bit of rhythm and sparkle. And lastly we have a bass, literally just playing long notes for the root notes. Before I play the full sample, first of all, thank you for still watching this. I know this was a long-ass sample, but you gotta give me some feedback on these tutorials, because I can't decide if I like this type of tutorial more, where I'm here with my face cam showing you the project, or if I prefer the breakdowns that I've been doing before that. So, you know, with me facing this way and with like the fancy animations and stuff. Tell me what you prefer. I think this way is nice to be a bit more hands-on to show you the project, and it's obviously much easier and quicker to edit, but I think the other way is also cool because it looks fancier, it makes the videos feel more special, and it also feels more universal for like Ableton or Logic people, because I'm not focusing on the FL project. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you prefer, and here's the full sample. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to check out my Lucid Weekly subscription. Also check out A Studio. Thanks a lot for sponsoring. And yeah, thanks for watching.